busy as hell, and I was happy for it to be busy as hell. But like, I go, you don't know, every week I go, is this the week that nobody cares anymore? And you don't know, you really don't know. It's scary, And I go, well, this was another one that was the opposite. I go, I skipped a pee break and lunch to be able to sign for everybody just to run off and then get to the Busted Open show at the 2300 Arena, and then just to hop on a plane to go to Vegas to do a toy convention the next afternoon. So I'm a workaholic. I live for it. But I didn't pee till I got to the Busted Open party, because I go, hey, man, I didn't want to miss anybody. I want to make the most of it. I wanted to get everybody's autographs and pictures. So absolute blast. And so far, this is not the week that it's all over with. So
right, it just keeps rolling along, man. Keeps rolling along. Well, guys, I'm Dominic DeAngelo of SEScoops.com, and also one of a kind with RVD. But I am happy to have with me here the most wanted man, Mr. Nic Nemeth, who will be taking on Moose at TNA Rebellion on April 20th this weekend here. Nic, thank you for joining me. What's kind of been the most refreshing aspect for you being a part of TNA now?
The most for me is like having to come around and do a little homework. So I famously don't watch wrestling, and it was mostly a dig at, like, I hated what I was doing for the last 5-7 years, whatever. So I would just embrace that and kind of make a joke about it. But when you get to a point to where I'm no longer like, I'm not going to be having a match with Seth Rollins this week, which I know his ins and outs. I know where he goes. I know how his movements are, his moves. I'm walking into a new school every week. It's like being a fourth grader and you're transferring to another school every week, except when I go to TNA or New Japan, and then I recognize those locker rooms. But independent shows, autograph signings, conventions, it's different every single time. And I go, is this the one to where I have to go, hi, I'm Nic from wrestling? Like, I don't know. I don't know who knows me. I don't know if it's like it's understood that because I was on TV for a long time. I don't want to assume everyone knows me. And I'm like, hey, I'm just here to help. Let me know whatever is going on. So knowing that you can bounce around everywhere and just have matches that I thought I thought I was going to be in New York for 10 more years, and then behind the scenes for 20 years, and then behind the scenes in a suit for 20 years. I didn't know. So now I go, I only have a certain window to where I can be fully healthy and not have people going, well, it was a pretty good match, for as slow and beat up as he is. Like, I don't want to be that guy, and nobody wants to be that guy, but we also never want to quit. So those things are always fighting inside our head. We don't ever want to stop or retire because we live for everyone looking at you. So at the moment I go, I feel too good. I am so not banged up. I'm in the best shape of my life. I feel too good to sit here on the bench for another year and a half. I go, I got to get the hell out of here. Let's go make the most of it. Let's go show people who aren't in New York that I've talked a big game. Can I back it up? And so far I have. Yeah.
How did it feel too? You got a lot of good praise when you left too. And, from guys like The Rock and John Cena spoke out about you. That had to be pretty darn validating when you hear that kind of stuff from your colleagues and the career you had and before all that stuff and moving on to free agency.
It's mind blowing because you don't know how, like, you've seen it happen. And I've sent that tweet out a million times. It was 20 of my friends got let go after Mania or something. You put out like, hey man, there's a bunch of guys coming to the independents. They're awesome. They just didn't have a place here at the moment. And I was not prepared for The Rock or John Cena to be like, this is a big deal, everybody. I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm like, I'm not even on social media that day. So the text I was getting, my phone absolutely shut down. It melted inside. It was so hot. I couldn't use it for a few hours because so many people reached out, which again, I didn't know. It was like, hey, you're out of WWE. Is that it? Does it start just slowly going away here? And I'm at a parade float and people are going, who is that? Like, don't worry. Like, hi guys. It was the opposite. I wasn't ready for it. And it was just like, oh man, everybody wants me to be on their show now. And I go, man, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what motivates you to keep going? Is it just the aspect of that you love wrestling? Is there certain things that you still want to accomplish, maybe like creatively that you didn't get to do necessarily in WWE, but maybe moving in TNA, something that you could do there or wherever else?
Yeah, it's all the things that I thought that, I might possibly do in New York for the rest of my career also. But I go, first, I wanted to have I needed to know that it wasn't impossible to be the champion. Mm-hmm. And and even if it was like, well, it's not likely, but it's not impossible. Okay, I love a challenge, anything. But the business plan with TNA was so good. The business model, it was just, Scott was like, here's what we do. Here's why we do it. Here's this locker room that you are going to be blown away by. Here's the long-term booking that we have. Here's where we're going as a company. We're rebranding here. We're doing something special. I go, man, I don't want to be tied down. I want to be like a hired gun that bounces around because I just got out of a long-term relationship, 19
Right.
years, most abusive relationship in my life. I just got out of it. So I said, I don't want to like put down that like, oh, for the next 3 years, I'm stuck in this deal, whether I hate you or you hate me or it all works out. I go, let me just do the dates. I'm not going to screw you guys over. I'm rooting for you and I want to help. So I did a certain amount of dates and then re-upped for double the dates. I go, I believe in this product. Let's go. And having that and then reaching and having Japan go, we would be interested in having, I go, that is one of the greatest things you could ever hear, because again, you never know how far, not celebrity, but like being known goes, or if it's like, oh yeah, he's a WWE guy, but out of there, I don't know that he could really adjust. We don't know if he's got it. They said, yes, get here. Let's make something happen. And they put a lot of trust in me. And sight unseen, basically in a Japanese ring, for sure, I became global champion, beating Finley, who's an awesome kid. And just knowing that they believe in me to give me a shot. And now it's up to me to represent them as properly as I can by defending that, by letting everybody know when I'm in the ring, this is special and it's going to be the match of the night. We're going to burn it to the ground or I'm going to die trying.
Heck yeah, man. And dude, you've been proving it too. It's been really cool to see you just kind of cut your teeth out on your own and making things going. And is that kind of too, was that part of the motivation of having that most wanted man moniker kind of thing too, is knowing that, hey, I'm a free agent, but also like, yeah, I get to do kind of what I want in a lot of ways too.
Yeah, but what I want is just to go to work and just crush it. And then and then walk through. And instead of like how I was in New York the last 5-7 years, like follow that MFers and throw in something. It was more like, why am I not the champ? So it's more like, hey, follow that. We're getting some more eyes on this show that you may not have heard of. And if you come to watch me because you know me from TV for the last 15 years, you might see this other guy that, oh, this is great. Or Jordan Grace is jacked and she's awesome. That's so cool. You just might not know everybody on the TNA roster, even if you should. And hopefully I am doing my job to get eyes on everybody. And I can never stop working for wherever I am. I have a problem to where I'm not looking out for me. I'm looking out for the company and the match and the team and the other guys. And I need to focus a little bit more on me, but it's 20 years too late. I'm not going to do it anyway. I just want wherever I'm at to be the place to be. And if I can help, I'll do an 11 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Roll with the punches, brother. How beneficial too has it been? Like you just mentioned it, like you notoriously don't watch wrestling when you're outside of the ring.
Yes.
How beneficial has your interest outside of wrestling been for you and furthering your career in wrestling?
Just doing stand-up and acting and Comedy Central roast battle on Comedy Central with my friend Sarah Tiana, where I crushed as a non-comic. No big deal. That's a lifelong dream, man. I watched Comedy Central when it came into existence.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Thanksgiving all day long marathon. I used to watch all the Saturday Night Lives, everything. I go, this is, and then I'll still come into a hotel at 2 a.m. in the middle of Alabama and just put on South Park until I fell asleep. I love that stuff. And I think all of those times that getting up and speaking, being in a movie, being in a TV show, I was in Drugstore June. I got a small part with a bunch of comics from LA. Bill Burr produced movie that just came out like 2 months ago. And it's so cool to just be all these different facets. But the important thing is stand up, talking, doing PR, promos in the ring, movies, TV, wrestling, you name it. Busted Open Radio, 9 a.m. to noon, Fridays with Dave LaGreca. All those things, they're fun and they're different facets to keep you relevant. But to me, it is just to make me a better professional wrestler. Better talking, more comfortable, more witty responses to have because you've been heckled in a show or you're in the middle of a thought and you forget about it. Just having all these pieces, I think that's what makes a genuine 2024 Renaissance man. You don't have a 300-pound barrel-chested guy on top of the business. You have someone that has to be able to do it all, walk the walk, talk the talk, be able to go on the Tonight Show, be able to fight and take a punch, be able to choke somebody out, be able to talk stock options and where the company's going and what the demographics are. When you have all those, then you have a much better shot at being a well-rounded 2024 awesome, best in the world professional wrestler.
That's perfectly said, I think, too, because yeah, you pull all those tools from outside of it. And that's what makes wrestling engaging is like the characters and the storytelling of that aspects. And if you're pulling from outside of wrestling that fans aren't necessarily used to, but you know some stuff. It's like, hey, these are tricks of the trade I can pull from Bill Burr here or somebody else, you know, whatever it may be.
Exactly. That really is it. It's like, where did you get that idea to do that? Well, it's actually something Chevy Chase did as an improv once that I saw in an outtake when he was talking about the movie Fletch. And now it applies to the wrestling business here because I did this thing and now it's my calling card. And it's similar. It's like, there's things like that. And very much so in my selling, everybody, when I was training brand new, wanted to look like Randy Orton, 2004, 2005.
Mhm.
They wanted to have short black hair like Randy Orton. They wanted to have no facial expression like Randy Orton. They didn't want to sell for anybody. They want to have black trunks. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because Randy Orton was about to be on top of the business at that point.
Yeah.
So I get where everyone was going, but I was brand new. And I said, I'm not going to stand out with 40 people doing the same thing. And I'm new and I don't even know how to do the basic stuff. I grew my hair out, blonde, did friggin' pigtails, pink trunks, and had a crazy tan line that went up over my stomach. And I said, I'm going to stand out. And I go, when I get knocked out or I get choked out or I get super kicked, I'm doing MMA or movie scene finishers. Like that's what I wasn't basing it on like, oh, I'm going to look strong when I fall and crumble a little bit. Like I go, this MMA guy got knocked out, his hands dropped, his head fell, and he went down because he got rocked for real. I go, that's what I'm going to have thinking. And for about 6 straight years, I'd come back through Gorilla and have my bosses, everyone in charge, important, the boss of the company, everyone go, oh my God, are you okay? I go, yeah, I'm just awesome at my effing job. Anyway, see you on Superstars next week or whatever, you know? And so I lived for that. When you can trick the hardest of the bitterest of the all of us, that means you are something special.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. You talked about it just a little bit. How's the Busted Open gig been for you? It's kind of neat to go into that realm. Dave LaGreca's awesome. That whole crew there is awesome. And you get to give your own perspective on a lot of the current events and stuff that are outside of WWE or wherever it is.
Yeah. And luckily, I don't have to watch wrestling.
There you go. Yeah.
But I'm smart enough to know when huge stories or intricate pieces or when everyone's talking about something, I can find a different way that I would have some either just like insider knowledge or an opinion or an idea of where to go and different things. And I go, I really live for it because people in TNA, especially WWE, like they would come up to me and ask me, what about this? What about this? And I go, I can help you with the stuff in between the moves and the story that's happening in between the other things because we let that go a lot. And I have to, even I do it. But it's like you have to go back and go, oh, that's right. It needs to be these special pieces. So having a different perspective, but also while fighting for world titles currently is a pretty cool position to be on that show because we have legends, Hall of Famers, current wrestlers, former wrestlers, and people in different positions. And I go, I somehow have a different perspective than all of them. And they all stand out. And I like that I can have this thing. And also I don't have to be like, well, am I being mean to this guy? Or should I not say about this company? Go, no. Here's my perspective. Everyone's being negative. I'll be positive. I hope they go somewhere with this next week. Here's what they can do. The story is this. If they go with it, there's this way and this way. And it's so fun. But also I've been in that position when I've been out there pointing to slides on the Titantron going, I hate this with all my being. I don't want to be doing this, but I'm saying word for word what the boss wanted me to, and you get through it. So you can recognize those tells sometimes when it's like, hey man, this he didn't write this. That's not him. But sometimes it's just having that because I was there and had that experience and it was 3 years ago. So it's like you have like up-to-date pieces that you can apply when everyone's saying, yeah, this guy sucks on the mic. Like, well, actually, he said this interesting line here that no one else has said. And I'm waiting to see what he's doing next week. And they go, oh, okay. And I go, hey, I'm validating my existence on this show. That's kind of cool. I have a different perspective. I love this.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's such a good dynamic there. And yeah, Dave cultivates a really good
Dave
vibe.
is so good. He keeps the show rolling. He totally locks in as the captain and sets you up and makes it easy. That entire team has made it so easy for me. Like, and I don't mean in like a lazy way. So like, here's what we're going to do. What do you think about this clip? What about this thing? What does it lead to here? And I go, oh, okay. And here's my perspective. Oh, they said this. Well, I see it totally the opposite way. And you go, oh, I never thought of it that way. And then I go, I never thought of it that way. And it's like two people in the business currently wrestling on cards, possibly for the world title, having a different opinion than the person that's listening, driving his dump truck to the dump. And you're like, oh, okay, I guess that is a fair point. You're like, oh, and then sometimes a caller has something that makes me think about, because I'm locked in this bubble of wrestling from the outside. So it's such a great existence, and I love it. I'm just getting going. I have a couple parts where when we're interviewing somebody and not just discussing back and forth, that I need to work on, and I'm constantly working on it and thinking about it.
It's all about batting practice, brother. Just getting them in there.
Get
those
those
swings
reps in, just like stand up, just like my beautiful metal singing career. All that stuff. Let's get those reps. I just need 4,999 more, and I'll be all set.
All right. Yeah, I'll close it out with this, man. So, who is your favorite current stand-up comic, and what's your favorite current band that you've been listening to a lot? That's been on your radar.
Oh, you know what? This is gonna sound so lame. Not lame, but it's like expected. Like, I've been listening to Rat nonstop. I went and saw Rat a month and a half ago in Vegas, and I've been listening to them nonstop. But also a little bit of beach music. So I can't just do metal. I do Motley Crue, Out the Roof.
Yeah.
Van Halen nonstop, Rat. I was getting all that stuff, and I said Suffragettes, which are just like a beach music band, and the 5, 6, 7, 8s, which are Japanese beach punk players, and they're all lady bands, and they rock. And it's like I gotta mix it up, because I was like I was just playing Out of the Cellar on repeat, and I go I can't, I gotta mix it up a little bit. So I've been doing that. It's Sam Morrill is a really good comic that I like. I really need to think of more. I need to start writing these down, because there's a bunch of young, or at least you think they're young because you might not have seen them on a million things, but they've been doing it for 15 years, and he crushes. Just the clips he puts on Instagram about his morning shows when he's doing the media rounds blows anything away. Plus his stand-up's good. Like, all that kind of stuff is good. Brian Regan is someone who's been around for a really long time and doesn't get a bunch of credit. Is one of the craziest. Like, he's so good and smart and funny. And he plays a goof, but you have to be a genius to play the goof that he's playing. It's so intricate, and he's not crazy on everyone's radar, because he didn't have a 20-year sitcom, and he wasn't on Seinfeld. So there's like stuff like that's so great. But man, Kiss I've been listening to a lot lately. I'm trying to think. I'm wondering if there's anything. A little bit of Black Sabbath.
There you go.
Need some more comment. I love seeing David Spade anytime he does any kind of stand-up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who's
the
good?
Cool thing about Regan, too, is he always kept it clean. He keeps it clean, and
he's maddening. He doesn't say darn. Like,
no.
And you just see this, like, Larry David rage boiling in his eyes, because the same absurd normal things drive him absolutely insane, but he's just like, like that. And he just like does a face, and you're like, it's so like, he is so good. I put that on for years just to listen to it. Oh, I know. Dave Attell has a brand new special out.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it yet, but what is it? What is his old album? It's so good. Oh my! It's like, it's not punk and drum, like, but it's some kind of like disorderly something. What is it? Skanks for the Memories by Dave Attell. I played that CD in my car so many times, it started skipping. I bought a second copy, played it so many times, it skipped too much. Now we have cell phones, and it's on there. Dave Attell, Skanks for the Memories. It holds up now, and it's disgusting and beautiful.
All right, I'm putting that on my list. On my list. Dude, yeah. All right, that's great stuff, man. And you're going up against Moose here this weekend. Rebellion going down. We're both wearing Bad Boy shirts, Motley Crue style, but yours is a little different. Talk about what you got going on this weekend too, when it comes to that event you got happening.
First and foremost, at the Palms, TNA is back. We were there for Hard to Kill. The crowd was so hot, and because of that ballroom, they just go up and they're on top of you, and it's such like an old school night at the fights feel. It's beautiful. But here it is. I'm 3 months in, and I'm getting a world title shot against the man who has proven himself to be the actual champion and flag bearer for TNA at the moment. And he's got a lot of backup. The system watches his back the whole way through. We have a press conference coming up, and then tomorrow, and then we're going to do so many different things, because we are all over Vegas for it. But the important part is Moose looks and acts the part, and he has the agility, he has the strength, he played football, he has that break speed like a linebacker. And I'm trying to think, I go, what the hell do I have that he doesn't? I'm shorter, and maybe I'm fast, but here's the best part. This jaw right here, I can take a punch. So he's not ready for someone like me to be able to take a punch or a headbutt or a kick or a driver onto the floor, because I never stop coming back up. So no matter what happens, how it goes, you are going to see this beautiful match unfold. It's the main event of an entire card that is over. It is going to go above and beyond, because everybody wants in the locker room wants people to be talking about TNA on Sunday for the big TV taping. And we're in Vegas, we're back, it's gonna rock. We are gonna beat the living hell out of each other. It's gonna be something you've never seen before. And I'm telling you, you will not forget this main event. And the rest of the card leading up to it is gonna make us work even harder just to be able to outdo them.
Styles make fights, man. They make fights.
Yep.
What's the charity thing you got happening too coming up too? You had
heading to Statesville, Bramel, for with my buddy, my old tag partner from FCW, Brad Attitude, Sunday, the 27th. So it's in 2 weeks, and it's a charity show, and it's a family show, and it's a Sunday afternoon, and it's gonna be or 28th. Sorry, it's 28th. But it's Statesville. It's gonna be a blast. We're teaming up, and we haven't done it for about 15 years. We are the crew. We get together, we get shirts made, we go see Motley Crue, we go see cover bands, we go see the summer tour of all like Poison. We're working on going to see Rat. We're getting it all together, and we're selling some really cool old school Motley Crue-esque attitude heel. I used to be the heel, officially and unofficially, and behind the scenes mostly in WWE, but also we had we live for it, and we just want to have a blast, get back together, have a good time, and have a great charity for these guys, and just have a great show. So that's going to be an absolute blast. But first things first, world title match Saturday at Rebellion at the Palms. It's going to deliver, and it's going to be delivered the only way I can.
That's the way to do it. The most wanted man here, Mr. Nic Nemeth. So thank you, Nick. It's been a great time. Looking forward to see more what you're doing with TNA and moving forward too, man. It's good stuff.
You got it, man. I'm looking forward to it too, man. Win or lose, I look forward to being associated with them and wanting to be. It's not this. I look up to Kurt Angle so much, but he had an entire second chapter of his career at TNA, and I hope to one day be put in a conversation with him about what I did with TNA to help. So I'm looking forward to making some real special matches and some memories for everybody.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time here on SEScoops.com.